Good morning to Totally and my friends. I'm Ang Yashi with metric number 193151 and my supervisor is Dr. Saiful. Today I'm going to present about the impact of economic growth on environmental quality in India. The flow of the presentation will be start by introduction, followed by literature review, methodology and data, results, and end with the conclusion and policy recommendation. India is the second populous country and ranked as the third largest economic country if measured in the purchasing power parity. It is a fast-growing developing country. Its average annual GDP growth rate is increased 6% to 7%. Over the years, India has started to emphasize in manufacturing and service sector. Service sector had contributed around 60% to India's GDP. And for your information, the service sector had include trade, tourism, and finance. Although the service sector is the major contributor to the GDP in India, but the manufacturing sector is still remains as the important economic sector. It had contributed around 22% of the environment in India. Agriculture is the lowest GDP contributor, but the labor force in this sector is the largest, which is 47%. However, the environmental issues also become one of the challenges in India, especially for their air pollution. This is the air quality map from State of Global Air, and we can see that the air quality in India is located in the dangerous level. Based on the observation of Paris-based International Energy Agency, they say that India's carbon dioxide emissions found growing further than the countries like China and France. This might be because of India's high population density and their major use in the coal. This figure shows that the carbon dioxide emissions and the GDP growth in India from 1918 to 2018. We can see that no matter the GDP is going up or down, the carbon dioxide emission is also increasing. Also, Figure 4 shows the northern India air pollutants through the NASA and ESS satellite observation. And we can see that during the lockdown period, the air pollutants had decreased much compared to the same period in the previous year. When India is not developed in their economy, or they have start emphasizing in the service sector, their carbon dioxide emission also is high. And due to the investigation of NASA, when human activity is stopped, the air pollutants will be decreased. So this had come to the problem statement, and this situation decide to investigate that the economic growth have any effects on the environmental quality. Comes to my research objective will be to examine the impact of economic growth on the environmental quality in India, especially in their air pollution. In the literature review, there are two theories to explain the relationship between economic growth and environmental quality. The first one is environmental Kaiser curve theory. The EKC theory states that the environmental degradation will increase at the early stage of the economic development, but after reaching the turning point, the environmental quality will be improved as long as the economic growth further. And most of the researchers found that they use the EKC theory in their research paper. The second theory is pollution haven hypothesis. And this hypothesis describes that developing countries will have the pollution issues because they have comparative advantage in the production, such as the cheapest option of the resource and labors, and they are less stringent in the environmental regulations. This is a summary table from the article's review, and it can be divided into two parts according to their variables used. The first, economic growth and environmental quality, and the researchers found that the economic growth relates with the pollution and dioxide emission is increased because of the energy consumption and also the country development in manufacturing sector. The second is the environmental quality with trade openness and the foreign direct investment. From the research result, they conclude that the trade openness will increase with the energy consumption and also the shipping activities. So the pollutants is increasing with the trade activities, and this will increase their economic cost. The model used in this paper is modeling from standard reduced form modeling approach, and this model is formed to investigate the effect of economic growth, trade openness, and foreign direct investment on carbon dioxide emissions. All the variables used are in logarithm form. The data used in the study consists of 39 annual data from 1980 to 2018, and it is collected from World Development Bank. The measurement for the carbon dioxide emission is in metric tons per capita, and the economic growth used is in GDP in constant 2010 value. OLS is applied in this paper, and there are 4 diagnostic tests. The descriptive analysis shows that the maximum value of the carbon dioxide emission is 1.94%, while the minimum value of it is 0.449. From the correlation matrix, we can see that the carbon dioxide emission has the strongest correlation with GDP, which is 0.992. And the OLS regression result shows that there are 98.87% of the dependent variable can be explained by the independent variable. And the p-value shows that there is a significant relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable. 3 of the independent variables shows that there are significance, and economic growth and FDI have a positive relationship with carbon dioxide emissions, but the trade openness have a negative impact on it. The diagnostic test shows that the model is normally distributed and stable, so the result is no bias and the analysis is accurate. This is a cushion test. As a conclusion of the study, the carbon dioxide emissions is increased along with the economic growth and the foreign direct investment, but the trade openness shows that it had a negative relationship with carbon dioxide emissions. And this might due to the technique effect or exposed to importers, environmental policies, or they are reduced in the export activity. Lastly, the pollution hypothesis can apply in India because it can explain why the foreign direct investment increase will increase the carbon dioxide emissions. For the policy implementation, government has played an important role on reducing the carbon dioxide emissions, so they can impose a pollution charge directly on the discharge of pollutants for all sectors, and is the most cost-effective way because it can achieve a standard at a minimum cost without harming the economy welfare. Besides that, it can set up a maximum amount of pollutants can be released for industrial sector, and the amount set must be acceptable for environmental, and besides that, government can give a subsidy to firms to encourage them be responsible on their own negative externalities. So firms will have a lower cost, and they will be able to adopt the green technology or energy saving equipment in their production. Lastly, government can encourage on using the renewable energy like solar and biomass activities, or industrial sectors can use low pollution materials in their production to reduce the dependence used on coal and fossil fuels. While the renewable renewable energy is suggested because India is convenience on getting this kind of renewable energy. And that's all from my presentation. Thank you.